Chris Lovell here with another edition of Pirate Talk with the head coach of the Lubbock-Cooper Pirates, Chip Darden. We want to thank the Texas Tech Federal Credit Union for sponsoring these podcasts. Make sure you check them out. They are the home of the HERO program. That's $1,000 closing costs and a credit that you get for home loan for educators, military, and first responders. So check out those folks at Texas Tech Federal Credit Union. We certainly appreciate them doing that. You, man, a lot to get into here as always, but you ever been a part of an 11-8 game before?
I don't think so. One of the teachers stopped me in the hall, got used to coach and been around it, and he kind of asked me about the game. I think it was Thursday or Friday last week. I said, I don't know, we might win it 10-8, or I can't remember if it said 10-8 or 10-7. He grabbed me today. He's like, man, you almost had it spot on. And what it turned out, I've never been a part of that, but we'll take it any way we can get it.
You had said that to me a couple of weeks ago when I was asking you about Abilene and stuff. You said, man, it's going to be a low scoring game. It's going to be limited possession, but I mean, dead on. I mean, and so much of that is because of how well both defenses played. So right. I want to make sure that because neither offense got in a hurry. So that clock just ran. You start to stress out a little bit in that from the standpoint of the clock is just running, and you're just not going to get many possessions in a game like that.
Yeah, and I think in a game like that, the margin for error is so small. You look at some little things when we're looking at our offense a little bit. There's a lot that we've got to be better at to keep winning games, but little play here or there just makes total difference. We convert that first down on the first drive. Thought we had a couple chances, to get a first down. I don't know. It just relaxes things, and you just have a better feel for the game. But no, I don't think there was ever like stress about it or anything like that. But yeah, you just, man, in a game like that, every opportunity matters. And then and I know we will probably talk about special teams a little bit, but you get into with as well as your defense is playing, you kind of get into that. Where, hey, we're going to put them in a good position. Like, the 4th and 4 that, there's a lot of times midfield we might go for it on 4th and 4. Well, our defense is playing so great, still a one-possession game. We were real conservative on some of those calls, but for us it wasn't. It was getting our defense in a good spot to now be able to maybe flip some field position. And anyway, I just thought we did some, kind of looking, you might think that we did a lot of things bad. I thought we did a lot of things well the other night that helped us win the game.
No doubt, and I think you mentioned that because what you also have is you had a defense that was playing really well. You also have a very talented young man that can punt it and can maximize flipping the field and field position and things like that. And he kind of, in some ways, controlled the game via the punt, which is we were talking about that on the broadcast. Like, we don't want to highlight him too much because you want to stop sending him out there. But still, with what he was doing, he was kind of dominating the field a little bit or dominating the game a little bit from just keeping them pinned in their own territory.
Yep. He was, there's an old saying, I've heard it a couple different ways, but one, like, man, that punter is going to have to ice his leg tonight, and that's usually not a good thing for your team. And I think it was Coach White talking about that. He had heard a radio broadcaster say one time, well, that kicker is going to be sore tonight because he's kicking so many extra points. They were giving up a ton of points. And anyway, he's talented. I know we've talked about it a ton, but I also think where he's great is he's so athletic. So there was one, we kind of gave him the option. He looked to tuck it and then went, no, it's not good, and punted it.
That hurt his average, by the way.
Yeah,
it was like 27 yards, I think. It killed his average, but lucky to get that one off.
He was
not lucky, just athletic enough to get it off.
But I think you just see that, because there's a lot of that, it's hard to set up a good return. And our net punting is really good, not just how far it's coming off his leg.
And we mentioned how good the defense was and that you were opportunistic at times, but really the difference in the game in many ways was the 3 takeaways.
Yep.
You guys don't turn the ball over. And again, it was 11-8 win over Abilene High. You're now 3-0 in the district. I want to make sure I don't forget to mention that. But the 3 takeaways versus that turnover margin really tilted that game.
Yeah, and that was after the game we go into the locker room. We don't talk much on the field. We go in the locker room to talk and hand out a game ball and all that stuff. But that was exactly what we said in the locker room. Like we get 3 turnovers, we have 0 turnovers, and we had 3 penalties, all 5-yard penalties. If we have those 3 things happen, you can take all the rest out. We're probably winning a lot of football games the rest of the way. And that was the talk and kind of what we thought. So really proud of them for that. And the defense, we knew it was a few weeks there early in the season where we weren't getting a lot of turnovers, and you're kind of going, well, are we doing stuff right? Are we doing stuff how we need to? And it just is like anything else. There's a process to it, and all of a sudden you start playing with a little confidence, and that ball seems to find us a little bit.
End up with 4 first downs total, which is slightly misleading, but still, that's what the stat sheet
But
shows.
we said we don't care about first downs anymore.
That's right, and that was my point. But I know one thing you do care about is 61 rushing yards. It was that's a credit to. We all know how good your running game is, and the boys up front, and the guys you're handing it to. But that defense, they just tackle so well.
Yep.
That Abilene High, and they get downhill, and they're fast. And you told your kids repeatedly last week, this is what it's going to be. And sure enough, I mean, it was every bit of that.
Yeah, and we've got to do a better job of making some guys miss in space. We saw that early, like in the Dumas game, first half, kind of the same type deal. We also got to do a better job of making, kind of taking advantage of them when they're in the box like that, those safeties and corners. But that was the best part of their defense, we thought, was their back end, kind of like Coronado. When those back end guys can cover and run, but then they're also really good tacklers, that makes it tough. So it was just one of those games that we snapped the ball 40 times, and that's including 2 victories at the end. So 38 meaningful snaps is probably an all-time low that I can imagine.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely has to be. Yeah, you practice all week and you run all these plays and you're ready to, and then, you only get 38 tries at it. Yep. And that when teams have those really good secondary guys, it just allows them to really spend their defensive equity, I guess, up front and all that. I thought the interception by Cole Katara kind of changed the game a little bit and again, flipped the field. I don't think y'all scored on that possession, but still, that kind of set a tone. I thought it was a big play at the time.
Yeah, the main thing, and he got our game changer. He got our game ball. Or I think he got actually defensive MVP.
He had 9 tackles, I think. Yeah.
He got the game ball in the locker room after the game because we thought the same thing. And the biggest deal, and I say that Abilene High was moving the ball. I mean, they got a few first downs on that drive, and kind of all of a sudden you can feel a little momentum. And then he picks one off, a little RPO that they ran. And I agree, that was just a big play in the game. And I think what it did was it took the wind out of Abilene High just a little bit. And their offense, from that point on, our defense really got after them. So, and like we've got to be better about obviously taking advantage of a turnover and going and scoring, or at least getting down there in the scoring part of the field. I think we went 3 and out punted, but which was a theme all night. But big play by Cole.
And I look at the tackle totals in this game, and there's some guys that you just expect to see.
Yeah.
Cutter Douglas, shocker. He had double-digit tackles again. And I want to make sure that we continue to mention that because I don't want to ever take it for granted. But you have guys like Cole Katara, Carson Bradshaw, who started to make a habit of this. These are DB types. They're not the biggest kids, but they just fly around the football and get downhill, and you need every bit of that in games like this.
Cole really got himself to where he started playing a lot for us by making tackles and being physical. He kind of showed that in practice and a few game reps that he would play really physical, and it got him on the field a little bit more. Another one is Chris Carrillo. I want to say it's the first time this year he's had a double-digit tackle game, and he, coming off of 2 knee injuries is pretty tough, and he's I think he's just getting more confident. Like he hadn't even reached close to what he's going to be.
Yeah, he's just junior.
Yep.
And he is a tremendous young man. He was you do that breakfast for your kids and the morning of home games. He was one of my guys last year, and I thoroughly enjoy getting to know him, man. He's just an awesome, speaks every time you see him. Yep. He's very well. I mean, I think a lot of Chris. Landon Doris, we talk a lot about. He had 9 tackles, but Carson Bradshaw with 9, and I guess Cole Katara had 7. I gave him 2 extra tackles. You deserve it, Cole. That's all right. But in the district standings, this was a big one. Because, and we talked about that last week, it's the difference between creating some separation now or being in the middle of the pack, and now you and Tascosa are right there at the top, and there's some separation there. So you're kind of giving yourself a buffer. Not that you're looking at it that way, but that's what the math looks like. Yeah, and
you know, kind of what our deal is, we wanted to win that, and then you're playing for something the rest of the way. And mathematically, I don't think we're in the playoffs yet, so we're not treating it that way. So this week we're playing for a playoff spot, and then you get to go play for seeding in a district championship if you win, and just to us it's pretty neat, and we've been fortunate enough to be playing for stuff late in the year, but we don't take it for granted that we're playing for something in late October, that these games are meaningful, and I think that's a pretty neat deal, something that the guys have earned.
And I don't want to move on, past this last week's game without asking you about the one play between Sproul to Cooper Morris over the top.
Yep.
He just threw it was if he throws it, if it's underthrown just a little bit, it's maybe picked,
Yep.
drops it right in there, and then that just turns the game, and the place is going nuts, and here we go.
Yeah, really, really proud of both of them. That first drive of the game, Cooper had a couple, one that we definitely consider a drop. One, DB kind of makes a good play getting it out. But I think, two plays that Cooper makes 9 times out of 10. And then he's a snapper and snaps it over the head, just about as bad a start as a kid could have. But we don't lose confidence in him. He got his tail ripped a little bit, and he moved on. And I think what was neat, somebody talked about today that a lot of our guys were just picking him up and, hey, man, you're going to be fine. And, I told him at one point, we're coming right back to you. You got to play ball. And so I was happy that he was able to respond off of kind of a negative start, and just one of those that, oh, man, all of a sudden we had a very, I don't know what the word would be, but just about as bad a start as you could have. And he's able to make the play to win the game. And Tyler, same thing, just put it right on the money. But another play that I'd like to mention, too, is the 2-point conversion.
Braden Laws.
Yeah, that's a lot. We've got now with the rule changes, we rep a lot more 2-point conversions than we used to. We used to go into a game with 1 or 2, and we've got to have about 6 at least ready to roll. And so, like that one that we ran, it's one that we repped first day of practice. We've been repping it almost every day since the first day of practice. But we've had a couple 2-point situations. I know against Friendship and against Wiley that we went for 2 up 12 and didn't get it, and it really flipped the momentum. And we let Friendship come back and beat us, and then Wiley went and scored, and we were able to hang on. But not getting it really flipped the momentum. So I thought getting that 2-point conversion was just big for the game. Like I don't know, there was a mental part of that. Even though we still would have been up by 1, there was a mental part of us getting that 2-point conversion. I thought that was big.
Yeah, and Braden, he's ironically enough, one of my breakfast kids this year. Just a stud, man.
Yeah.
Great kid. Scout team awards: Tanner Sproul and Wyatt Swinney.
Yep.
So
really good practice weeks, and those guys. Wyatt has been really good on special teams all year. Plays hard on kickoff. He's over there. Kind of how we kick it over there on the left side. He's one of those guys on the left that has a pretty tough job, and you kind of rewind that film. Who's in on that play? And most of the time, Wyatt's somewhere down there in the middle of it. So, and then Tanner had. Coach Bacchus said he thought Tanner had maybe his best week of practice last week.
Tanner Sproul,
and
yes.
He got a lot of reps. Had a big catch there in the fourth quarter on I think it was second down. Had a big about 18-yard catch for us. So those guys, we got a lot of guys that play hard, but those two had really good weeks of practice.
And again, one more kid we need to make sure we mention is you had one young man play, I guess, the whole game with a clubbed up hand.
Yep.
Mason Gallino just toughed it out, man.
Yep.
And just kind of was like, I'm not missing. I'm going to play. So I talked to him some, and he's just like, yeah, we're going to get through this.
Yeah, and somebody gets their hand casted up, clubbed up, and you're going, well, how effective can they be? Well, he was our hog of the week on defense and got the big hit. He probably had his best game of the year with one hand. So yeah, that's a tough kid right there. He's in a lot of pain, but he wanted to play. Knew it was a big game, and that one I'll remember for a long time. How he toughed it up and able to postpone, sitting out.
His Jordan flu game.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's right. Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, now you get an interesting one here. There's interesting dynamics here with this one. Monterey hasn't won a game yet. They have been very competitive. I think that you're probably going to tell your team, hey, Tascosa, we're tied with. This was a 1-score game, middle of the fourth quarter. And so they are absolutely able to kind of, play with you and beat you if you're not careful. Yeah,
with Tascosa, they were down 14-10, and they had the ball inside the 10-yard line. About 4 or 5 minutes to go. They really could have, should have, however you want to look at it, beaten Tascosa. Also the same with Midland High, Caprock. I mean, they've been very competitive, and I think you see them. You turn on the film from week 1 to now, they've just improved a ton. They battled injuries. Last week they played, I think, a JV quarterback. We're expecting a quarterback to return against us, but man, it's I think our guys just understand there's 3 games on our schedule right now, and so each one of them matters. There's never any look ahead. We've got a game in front of us Friday night against a really talented team that. We've beat them in the last couple years. They've been some battles. Last year was a 1-score game. I think the year before, 2 years before, was a same 1-score. They're really talented, really good program. I think you can rinse, wash, repeat it with the district guys that have played big boy football for a long time, and so we're expecting a battle, and we better be ready to play, or they won't be 0-7. They'll be 1-7. They're that talented.
And if I remember correctly, last year they had to finish the game with a second quarterback because their other quarterback got dinged up early in the game. Head coach Judd Thrash, brand new first year. That also equals some guys that had worked there that work for you now.
Yeah.
Coach Reed and Coach Peters had worked at Monterey for a long time. Interesting dynamic there because they know all those kids.
Yeah, they do, and they got a relationship with those kids, and they love the kids, and I think they still got a lot of people that they care about over there. But it's that just happens. I think that happens in the
coaching,
profession
right.
a little bit, and I think that's what makes it hard. Like those guys, they had a hard time. You got to look after number one. You got to look after your family and what's best for you. But at the same time, it's hard to leave kids that you're invested in, and so they'll have that. I bet it'll be emotional for them. But we're glad they're Pirates. I know that.
Me too. Good coaches, really good coaches, good people. This is one of the best running backs I think you'll see all season, and Jaden Hibbler, and maybe one of the best wideouts you'll see as far as because this is where the ball goes.
Yeah,
he carries it. Jaden Hibbler carries it, and Hunter Hebrew catches it. These two guys, as everybody knows, but they're good enough that they're going to be featured. But they keep putting up stats.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a question. They're probably the best we've seen. They're really good, and we've seen good. We've seen good players. That's no disrespect to anybody else, but these two are really good. And Hibbler, we saw him last year as a sophomore, and they had a senior running back last year that was really talented. But man, when Hibbler came in, he was a difference maker, and he can make you look funny. If you have bad technique trying to tackle him, he's going to make you look silly, and you're going to be on a highlight reel. But and then Hebrew's so fast, and then just a really good route runner. They do a good job of getting him in matchups that they like, but. And then, to me, you pair that with a big offensive line, and that makes them tough to stop.
You like playing at Lowry? You guys have to every year. Yeah, it's a fun stadium.
Yeah, those renovations, which, it's been a while, I guess.
Yeah.
Renovations were 6-8 years ago, but that locker room setup is great. I think our kids like it and are comfortable there. And, not much travel. We'll do some warm-up at our place. We'll just kind of get over there and be ready to roll. But, we like playing there.
Yeah, because for a road game, it's just odd because it's in town,
right?
It's and I guess, is that the way it works? Every other year, you're either playing Coronado or Monterey. There.
That's the way it's set up right now. Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, now for the fun part. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Let's see here. If Chip Darden could change one or change or eliminate one rule in high school football, what would it be?
Man, I do not know. I can think about that. They've kind of started to, but I think the targeting, ejecting a kid, and I get it. It matters. Like the whole purpose is that we teach tackling different, but without being able to review it and look at video like they can in college and the NFL, I think it's pretty hard to take these kids are guaranteed 10 games, and to take a game away from a kid on something that, hey, I'm not sure. But I think they're getting better at that and adjusting that rule, but that would probably be kind of how we do targeting.
Okay, yeah, and that's a hard one to officiate at all levels, even when there is video. And sometimes I'm not sure of what targeting is versus what it isn't. But scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
10.
Like 10 being the best?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a ticket in my life.
Whoa.
22
That's
years
tempting
driving.
fate right there, people. That's tempting fate.
If you don't speed, you won't get a ticket.
Okay, so you may have tipped off your answer here, but how many times a year do you honk at anybody?
Very rare. One maybe.
Okay, what does that take? What does that take to get somebody for you to go? Okay, you're getting the wrath. I'm hitting the horn. I'm a little frustrated. Speed up. Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, it would be like they're about to change lanes and hit me, like getting their attention. I wouldn't. I'm not an angry driver. Now, if you ever get Coach Lakeman here, that is the most angry driver there is.
He's triggered, is he?
Yes.
Okay.
He can't.
Okay.
He can't do it.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me about Coach Lake. That's a defensive-minded guy,
exactly
though. He's
right.
yeah,
That's exactly
he's like defensive driving made for people like Coach Lake.
And I'm a much better driver than my wife. Yeah.
I was gonna say something about my wife too, but I'm gonna keep it on the shelf. I'm gonna keep it on the shelf.
I won't let her watch this.
This is your show, not mine.
I won't show her this. So
yeah. How often does Chip Darden get his haircut?
About once every 3 weeks.
Okay.
I'm about due. Yeah, I don't like it to get.
Because you keep it pretty short.
I do.
Yeah. Somebody else asked me that. That's the reason I wrote down. So like, how often does Coach? Because you always look like you just got a haircut for the most part.
When you've got a big head, you can't let your hair grow out too much because then it looks bigger.
This is literally not yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like
right.
wear like a size 8 hat. So
okay.
I got to get my hair cut.
Okay. When you make a sandwich at home, what is it?
Ham
and cheese?
Yeah, ham and cheese. I like lettuce, the crunch.
Okay. Little. Do you cut it in halves or diagonal?
I don't cut it. You gotta.
Oh, you just roll it.
I just roll it full size.
Diagonal forever for me, by the way.
No, so my kids like the four triangles. Me, I'm
so
all
they
make
the squares.
Oh yeah.
Okay, see, it choked me up a little bit. Of course, that's such a kid thing. It's like four little mini sandwiches. It almost is like a mine.
I'll tell you what I had. This is how I'd prefer it. Is yesterday I had sandwiches, but I had them on the Hawaiian rolls. Like, give me that
that's
all day.
game changer. That's veteran move right there. Yeah. Credit to you. Your opinion. Halloween's coming up. We'll get into more Halloween stuff next week. But your opinion of somebody that hands out a toothbrush when you trick or treat would be what?
Oh, that's pretty lame, man. That's pretty lame.
So you think less of people that do that?
I do.
I would agree.
Do you do that or
no?
Okay.
I mean, I would absolutely judge you, and I would.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I probably would put there's some candy that you could put into that lameness too, like.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Best of both worlds.
If we're gonna hand out candy, let's hand out some Reese's. Let's make it good.
Your favorite Halloween costume as a kid, is it when you dressed up as a Houston Oiler or the Ultimate Warrior?
Man, so I know where this is coming from.
I have a source where I office. She doesn't want to be revealed.
So I don't know that I was ever the Ultimate Warrior for Halloween. I just would dress up.
That's
as
so
the Ultimate
disappointing.
Warrior. Just daily. Yeah,
yes.
it's just a Tuesday.
Hulk up.
Nah, I'm just gonna dress up.
Real name was Jim Hellwig for the
Ultimate
so you know.
Warrior was
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And WWF is what it was called then. Was the best wrestling. Like you can't even talk about anything there, but. I think I was a football player every Halloween, so I think I got a
Earl Campbell, Mike Renfro.
I was usually, and don't hold this against me. It's where I went to school, but I was usually a Shallwater must. Like I picked a high school football player. And
okay, that's fair. Yeah, no, you're good. Well, see, yeah, you survived it. It wasn't too bad.
No, that wasn't bad at all. Halloween. I don't know about the Halloween stuff next week though.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan.
We'll give you. Me neither. Yeah, me neither. I kind of anti-Halloween a little bit, but we're going to embrace it next week, so stay tuned.
I'm not dressing up, though.
No, and that's not how I roll either. We'll dress up as a couple of hosts here and do the show, and you can be a football coach. How about that?
Yep.
All right, well, thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week. Good luck, Coach, against Monterey.
Appreciate it.
Fun.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.